Wow. Thank you for coming today. I'm Jake Adelstein with the Japan Times and the Daily Beast. I will be your moderator. As you know, last year, Ikumi Yoshimatsu, on my right, was the first Japanese woman to win the Miss International contest in its 52 years. Today is her last full day as Miss International. However, what should have been turned into a crowning glory turned into a nightmare after she refused to go to work for a group of talent agencies linked to organized crime banned by the U.S. Department of Treasury. From the end of December up to the present, she has been subject to harassment, intimidation, and stalking, seemingly coordinated by the head of a powerful talent agency and an executive at K-Dash, which handles such luminaries as the stars of The Last Samurai and Batman Begins. Shukan Bunshin broke the story on December 10th, and the Japan Times followed the same day. By December 11th, Yahoo News Japan had a special feature site on it, and Sports Nippon, Sponichi, did a huge feature. However, for reasons unknown, probably due to the pressure of K-Dash and others, by December 12th, Yahoo News had taken down their special section. Sponichi deleted their article with no explanation. This has not gone unnoticed by the Japanese public. Ikumi's blog has 700,000 views since the news broke. Hundreds of sporting comments and women sharing their experiences of being stalked. Many of the comments are expressing outrage that Japanese television mainstream media are ignoring the story. This is no surprise, as is always most the case with anything connected to Burning Productions or Johnny's Jimusho. The mainstream Japanese media is fairly spineless in reporting on their scandals for fear of losing access to celebrities. The Saga Shimbun, which is Ms. Yoshimatsu's local paper, did write one article about it, which is kind of impressive. So much for local media. Today, Ms. Yoshimatsu will explain what happened to her and why she didn't back down. She hopes the foreign press will have the courage to write about what the Japanese media seems afraid to write about. First, her lawyer, Mr. Nishikawa, will make a brief statement, followed by Ikumi's statements, then questions and answers. A brief explanation of the materials in front of you. In order to save time, Ms. Yoshimatsu's statement in Japanese has been placed here. Everyone should have a copy. It's the essence of what she's about to say. There should be an English copy of her statement available later after she's done speaking. I don't think it'll actually match what she's saying, but those are her words. This is a record of, in front of you for those who don't read Japanese, this is a text messaging between Taniguchi Genichi and Ikumi's father. This is a certificate saying that they sent a letter of criminal prosecution to the Shibuya police. There are photos of the detectives that were hired to stalk Ikumi. This is a photo of Mr. Taniguchi Kenichi at Nihon Television when they were filming a film called Bankisha on December 30th, 2012. There's also a tape recording of this incident. There is a timeline thoughtfully provided to show what happened, when, and where. And those are all the materials in front of you. Without any further ado, Norio Nishikawa, Ikumi's lawyer, is going to make a brief statement in Japanese, which I will then translate into English since we're short on staff and I'm doing the moderation and the translation. 西川さん、よろしくお願いします。座っていいでしょうか。あ、マイクありますよ。あ、つけた方がいいですね。
弁護士の西川則夫と申します。本日はお忙しい中、誠にありがとうございます。
I am Norio Nishikawa, the lawyer representing Ms. Norio. Did I say that wrong? Okay. Norio Nishikawa, the lawyer representing Ms. Yoshimatsu. Thank you for coming here today. I know that you're all very busy.
先ほど来ご紹介にありました吉松育美様、育美さんの今回のいろいろな問題につきまして、法的な処理をやっている段階でございます。いろんな事情をお聞きしたり、証拠関係を調べて、真実性が高いということで今やっております。
I am preparing several legal actions and have taken several legal actions on behalf of Yoshimatsu-san, which I am going to explain to you now.
やってる法律的な問題については日本語特有の内容でございますので詳しくは申し上げませんが現在第一段階としては仮処分申請それは暴力行為の禁止とかあるいは郁美さんの周辺につきまってはいけないとか郁美さんの会社の従業員に接触してはならないとか郁美さんの実家の両親に電話等をしてはならないというそういった内容の仮処分をやっているわけでございます。
I have asked the courts to give me a provisional order against Mr. Taniguchi to forbid him from acts of violence, or stalking Mizukumi or members of her family, or any members of her company, or contacting over the telephone, or through written letters, and to avoid bothering her in any manner or fashion.
その中で証拠関係たくさんございますが特に録音テープとかそういうものがありまして、
I have collected a larger number of evidence to support these allegations, including tape recordings of phone calls and other such evidence.
現在仮処分申請は審理中でございますが、引き続いて損害賠償等の本裁判の提起もしたいとこういうふうに思っております。
The provisional order is being looked at by the courts right now, and I'm preparing a civil lawsuit for damages.
付け加えて一つだけ申し上げますけれども、刑事問題。
And I would also like to talk about criminal issues here.
刑事問題は威力業務妨害罪ということで本人告訴でただいま渋谷警察署の方に行っております。
We have sent criminal charges for the obstruction we have sent charges for the criminal obstruction of business to the Shibuya police at present.
大体が私の申し上げる大雑把な概要でございます。
That is basically all I have to say at this point.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. Now, Mizukumi-san will read a statement that she has prepared about what happened to her and why she is taking the actions that she has taken. English is not her native language, so she asks that you please bear with her while she speaks in the best English that she can. And after she is done speaking, hopefully we'll be able to distribute a copy of her statement, which may differ from what she's about to say.
Okay. Thank you, Jake. Thank you for coming today. I'm Miss International, Ikumi Yoshimatsu. And I'm not a native English speaker, so sorry, I'm going to read really slowly. And now, I would like to read my statement that I prepared. On December 11th, 2013, I filed criminal charges for obstruction of business via his stalking activities against Mr. Genichi Taniguchi, a Japanese talent agency executive who is president of Pearl Dash and executive at K Dash. I have filed these charges and I'm naming my tormentor in public, despite his intimidation, threats, and connections. I do this not for my personal benefit, but to voice my concern and outrage on behalf of all the women Mr. Taniguchi and men like him has tormented and may have sent their graves who could not call for help out of fear of retaliation and being possibly fired from their jobs, and ignored in a society where a culture of silence toward crimes against women has been the standard for centuries. My problems began shortly after I was crowned Miss Japan. In spring 2012, Mr. Kazuyoshi Ishii, former K1 promoter, suddenly showed up my management company I was with and took my manager and me by car to the Akasaka office of Burning Productions. Mr. Ishii told me that, as a rule of being in Japanese entertainment industry, I must get the approval of the chairman of Burning, Mr. Ikuo Suo. After researching and finding out more about Burning Productions, I felt very uncomfortable about having been taken there. I saw police files leaked onto the internet in 2007, listing Burning Production as a client company of a well-known crime family. And I've heard a tape recording of what sounds like Mr. Suo talking about his relations with the same crime family. After winning the water title of Miss International on October 21st, 2012, I informed my manager that I would not be extending my contract with her and that I would start my own independent management company. My manager agreed and released me from my contract in December 2012. A few days after my manager agreed to release my contract, she told me that Mr. Ishii wanted to meet with me. I told her that I was afraid of Mr. Ishii and I did not want to meet with him. I asked her to please keep him away from me. She promised me I would not have to meet Mr. Ishii and asked me to come a private meeting just with her. 5 minutes after the meeting started, Mr. Ishii came into the room. He told me that he supports my decision to leave the management company, but only if I agree to join another company within his group. He demanded I meet a close friend that he said he and Mr. Suo controls, Mr. Taniguchi of K-Dash. I made it clear to Mr. Ishii that I was aware of the United States Treasury Department's OFAC list and allegations and rumors that the company is connected to the Yakuza. Morally and ethically, I cannot work with such people, nor do I want to. I released to be associated with Mr. Taniguchi, Mr. Ishii, Burning, or any of their group companies. My refusal to enter the Burning Group stable was not taken lightly. A week later, I saw Mr. Taniguchi face to face for the first time. On December 28, 2012, Mr. Taniguchi of the powerful entertainment management agency K-Dash, whom I never met before, burst onto the set on a live TV program I was on, followed me into my dressing room, grabbed my arms, and tried to abduct me from the studio. Sorry. Instincting that he would be providing my management from now on. He lied to studio producers and staff, saying my management contract was in allegation, implying that he was going to manage me. I have a recording of everything. Of course, there was no truth to his claim, and security escorted him out of the building. Since that time, Mr. Taniguchi has used the influence of his company, K-Dash, on Dentsu, TV networks, and magazines to contact potential sponsors and spread threats of scandal to any company who associates with me. Everyone in the industry is aware of K-Dash, and anyone who Googles Taniguchi Genichi is aware of what kind of person he is and how he targets female victims. Therefore, a threatening call from Mr. Taniguchi caused immediate cancellation and severing of cooperation between any potential sponsor, business partner, magazine, or TV network, and the person, normally a woman, who he is targeting. On June 13th, Mr. Taniguchi began calling my family in Kyushu, followed by calling my father at his workplace, demanding that my father instruct me to follow his instructions, and that if I didn't, I would winding up like another woman who was found dead following harassment and intimidation by Mr. Taniguchi after trying to leave his company. Despite my father's demand that he stop contacting my family, Mr. Taniguchi continued to send intimidation letter making threats should we not follow his instructions. In one of his calls, he mentioned one of my main sponsors by name and expressed his influence over the president of that company. Shortly after that call, my contract with that company was suddenly terminated. The reason why, stated in a recorded conversation, was that they fear Taniguchi will perpetrate a crime against me and the company, causing trouble for their brand. Upon my family's final refusal to comply with Mr. Taniguchi's request, he stated that he and others would have to make an appearance in front of me. A statement that to Japanese people implies direct harm. And he sent final text message to my father stating, "It's too bad you didn't listen to me. Now I will do whatever I want with your daughter." Mr. Taniguchi began calling my office, intimidating the girls who answered the phone. He tried to extort money from me by saying that my company, IY Global, and me personally owe him money, and that if not paid, he will make personal visit to my office, again implying a threat. Mr. Taniguchi made his intention known throughout the industry, to the point where ad agencies told me that many main clients and TV networks have been warned by Mr. Taniguchi not work with me. Mr. Taniguchi sent intimidating private investigators to my home office and production studio to peep into my windows and take photos of my home and office. On September 30th, one of them was chased down and captured by my security and guard dog after losing the police on foot. I filed a police report and asked for protection from Taniguchi. I told the police that I don't want to die. They did nothing but offered to patrol the area. On October 3rd, I instructed my legal team to send letters to both Mr. Taniguchi and to the president of K-Dash, warning them of legal and criminal action against them should they not immediately stop the action of Mr. Taniguchi. Since received the warning letter, Mr. Taniguchi threatened and perpetrated the act of facilitating a slanderous story in a Japanese tabloid, even calling 2 days before it went to print to boast about his initiating the story. And now, my crown. On September 13th, 2013, I was called into the Miss International office here in Tokyo. In a recorded conversation, I was informed that Mr. Taniguchi had been personally making relentless threatening phone calls to the main sponsor and new shareholder of Miss International, threatening to release fictitious stories in the tabloid press should I be allowed on the stage. Miss International responded to Mr. Taniguchi's threats by instructing me to play sick, keep quiet, and not attend the World Final Pageant here in Tokyo tomorrow, to pass my crown to my successor. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm fine. I'm so sorry. I have worked tirelessly over the past year at my own expense to fulfill my obligation as a role model and the first Japanese ever to wear Miss International crown. I have used this platform effectively to help women, children, and communities all over the world. I have held my head high and keep silent about the torment, extortion, threats, and intimidation by Mr. Taniguchi, not wanting to allow the like of him to tend this important mission and title. But I realize my obligation to speak out on behalf of all the women who cannot naming my tormentor in public. There is absolutely nothing I have done or am responsible for to Mr. Taniguchi in any way, shape, or form. I have never had any dealings, obligations, or association to him or his company. Many women have reportedly fallen victim to Mr. Taniguchi over the years. And this kind of intimidation, power harassment, sexual harassment, stalking, mental torment, extortion, and threats of surrender scandals, should one refuse him, is damaging the Japanese entertainment industry and crushing the soul of our country. Mr. Taniguchi's strategy of calculated intimidation, social slandering through the internet and media, threatening the families and friends of people around his victims, and business interruption lead to depression, mental illness, and suicide. After being targeted by Mr. Taniguchi, I can certainly understand why a woman would choose forced suicide as the only way to escape him. It would be irresponsible of me to call on the women of Japan to raise their voices when they are in such fear, without first calling government of Japan to enact laws that give real protection to women. Japan needs strict anti-stalking laws and other laws that actually punish perpetrators of crime against women. We need protection by police and restraining orders granted by the court for any woman who has been threatened, is being stalked, or forced to commit suicide. Before she's actually harmed, murdered, or forced to commit suicide. Without protecting the women of Japan, our country will never enjoy the economic and moral benefits of a truly equal society. Lastly, my promise to everyone who voiced support and shared their story with me. Even though we may live with fear, we can also live with purpose. I will not play sick. I will not keep silent. And I will not appease my tormentor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now take questions from the working press and from others if there's time. Before we begin, I need to clarify one thing with Ms. Yoshimatsu. You said that the NTV incident was on December 28th in your speech, and the summary timeline is December 30th. Which is the correct date?
I'm sorry, that was 30th.
Okay, the 30th. December 30th.
Sorry.
All right, questions?
My name is Fujita, and I'm with the Kokumin Shimbun, number one Shimbun, the Imperial Warriors, more or less like a right-wing paper. I'd like to hear your comments toward Japanese media, because from your story, I can understand there are a lot of Japanese medias or related parties involved, the newspapers, the magazine, the TV stations. So, your comment to the Japanese media.
Okay, to the Japanese media.
そうそう、日本のマスコミの対応などについてはどう思いますか？
Their actions or
Actually, I wrote down my blog, and I have tons of comments from my supporters. The voice was, to be honestly, they're disappointed media, because I had press conference to Japanese media once. That was last week on Friday. But so far, nobody broadcasting about this issue. So I wish they understand not my situation. I wish they understand Japanese society situation. That's all.
Other questions? Please identify yourself in the
Edwin Carmiel, freelance. What about the police? They gave you such a naive reply that they cannot do more. Thank you.
警察官の対応はどうでしたか？それについてこれからどうなりますか？西川さんの西川さん。
Police?
そう、警察の対応はこれからどうなるのかというお聞きたいです。
警察の対応ということでございますが、日本の場合非常に民間からの告訴というのが非常に言葉は悪いですけども不親切なところがあって、警察自身もなかなか事件がたくさんあるということで受付がなかなかやってくれないというところもあります。ただ本件の場合いろんな証拠関係等を次々提示することによってこの問題はなんとか警察の方でやってもらうというふうに考えております。
The Japanese police tend to have a cold attitude towards complaints that are provided by the civilian population. That is also because they have a huge amount of work on their hands. However, in this case, as they continue to bring forth a great deal of evidence, he feels confident that the police will take this matter seriously and investigate it to the best of their capabilities.
So my comment is same as my lawyer.
Other questions? I already called on.
The guy is he always.
Sorry.
帽子かぶってる人が。
The lady, yes.
Harumi Ozawa from AFP の小沢と言います。Are there any specific words or actions taken by Mr. Taniguchi that indicate that he would physically harm you or kill you even, or anything that would indicate to force you to kill yourself?
谷口さんに対するあなたに脅威を示すような危害を加えるような行動、自殺に追い込むような行動をとっていますか？あれば具体的に教えていただけますか？
as I said, he contacted my family, and he threatened my family, and he said to my dad, he mentioned the name of woman, Miss Kawada Ako. She was announcer of TBS. She suicide 2008. He mentioned that, and he said, I'm worried about your daughter because your daughter became like her. My English is good. Sorry, my English is not good. Okay, let me explain it in Japanese, okay? 家族に電話をしたときに、谷口さんは、2008年亡くなった川田亜子さんの名前を出し、私は心配しています。娘さんが彼女のようなことになるということを心配していますというふうに、あたかも心配しているような丁寧な口調で言っているんですけども、それは私にとっては、家族にとっても自殺するようなことになるとか、川田亜子さんのような目に遭うぞという脅迫のメッセージにしか聞こえなかったです。あとストーカーが来た時も、ストーカーじゃなく探偵が来た時も、家の中を男性が覗き見て、写真を見ていただければ分かると思うんですけど、すごい怖いこわもてな男性がカメラを持って写真を撮っているっていうのは、私にとってはもう本当に一人では家にいられない精神的苦痛がすごくあって。
Interrupt you for a second, sorry. When we spoke to my father on the phone, he mentioned Kawada Ako-san, a TBS announcer who killed herself, and the implication seemed to be that if Yoshimatsu-san didn't do what she was asked to do, that she would also end up like Kawada-san committing suicide, which to the family clearly sounded like a threat and made them extremely uneasy. Also, that there was a detective sent to her house, and you can see in the photos that he was taking photos of the inside of her house. And when she saw his very frightening, thuggish face looking into her place, that made her feel very fearful and uncomfortable and threatened.
そのようなことがたくさんありました。
She says there were many things like that. You in the back? Oh, then Pico.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Diacone-Cruz. I'm with the International Press. I'm a freelancer. Did you at any time feel like you were being blamed as the victim when you went to the authorities?
警察とか話した時はあなたのせいだと、君が悪いと感じさせられたことありますか？警察とか弁護士に行った時にあなたが悪い、あなたがそうあいじゃいけない、あなたの方が問題ですというふうに受け取り方あったんですか？警察が話していて。その質問でしょう。どういう感じを受けたんですか？なんかどういうことを聞かれたか、どういう内容されたんですか
？The police didn't say anything about that, but as I said, I filed everything to the police, my situation, and they tried to explain what kind of person he is. I'm really scared. I don't want to die, I said. But the police said, okay, of course you can't die. Okay, so I can patrol your area.
So did you feel like your pleas sort of fell on deaf ears?
I expected more, protected me more strongly, but it wasn't, so I was just quite disappointed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ピコさん、そしてユリさん、はい。手を挙げた。ピオさん、ごめんなさい。
Thank you. D'Emilia from Sky TG24 Italy. First of all, coming from a country where mafia activities are very, very, shall I say, sophisticated, I can understand very much what you are saying. And this is exactly why I would like, if you can, be more specific, because when you mention Yakuza, you mention, the fog. Could you be more specific about which Boryokudan is involved? Secondly, if you have still any kind of grudge against Mr. Ishii of K1, because as far as I understand, he's still a free person. He has never been condemned or found guilty in any crime. It's not, and, okay. All right. Okay, and the final part of the question is maybe the more important. Can you please state again, because I'm not sure I well understood, do you mean that in Japan, after that you have called a press conference like this one, newspaper like Asahi Shimbun, Mainichi, Yomiuri, Sankei, and blah, 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 did not pick up the story and never wrote anything about this? Can you please say once more? Thank you.
最後の質問ね、どこで記者会見してるのか、誰が取り上げられなかったことを説明してください。最初はどこのボールから
So first question is, you can see OFAC list. Do you know that, right? So is it on the listing on the name, the crime family? This is the same as crime family. But secondly, about Mr. Ishii, I wish he explained it to me more. What kind of Japanese entertainment is? What does it mean to meet Mr. Suo? And final question, I had press conference at Shihou Kisha Club.
That's the press club in the Reporters, so yeah, Justice Department.
And I don't know which media is participated, but most of the huge, famous, big media was there for sure, because I had some questions. Their attitude, like, really active. They have lots of questions to me. So yes.
Nothing came up.
Yes, only my hometown newspaper. They broadcasted me.
Yeah, if the lawyer could say something about Mr. Ishii. Is he a criminal or not? Does he have records?
石さんについては、石さんについてはどういう人物ですか。なんか一般の市民なんか前科あるとか。
I can't comment.
Can't comment.
Legally, he can't comment. I think if you do a newspaper search under Mr. Ishii's name, you'll find that he has a certain colorful legal history that has been reported in depth. Ms. Nagano. And then Joel.
Hi, Hi, I'm Yuri Nagano freelance. Thank you so much for coming today and having courage. ありがとうございます。日本語で質問させていただきます。ちょっとすみません、いくつかあるんですけれども、ですね、まず独立、結局エージェンシーから独立をされたいというふうに思ったので、問題が起きたと思うんですけれども、独立をされたいと思った理由を教えてください。で、あともう一つですね、すみません。はい。
はい。ちょっと分けていいですかね。The first question is, why did you decide to go independent from the agency that you were first working with?
その当時、私の所属していた事務所というのは、私がクリーンでいたいという思いがあったので、プロの芸能事務所に所属はしていませんでした。なので、世界一になって、彼らのマネジメントをするのが追いつかなくなったために、私は独立を決めました。
After she won the Miss International title, the small office that she's working with, which wasn't a talent agency, was unable to keep up with the demands for appearances and commercial contracts. So she felt the need to go independent with other management.
他にじゃあビジネス的な観点から独立をした方がいいというふうに思ったのが、
はい、そうです。一番の理由です。
Did you have something else, Dan?
Yes, I actually have. それからですね、テイラーさんと谷口さんの間に金銭面のちょっと問題があると思うんですけれども、郁美さんのご存知の範囲内で何が起きているか、それで結局それが何でしょう、このいろいろなことにちょっと絡んできてしまっているので、郁美さんの観点を教えてください。
I have to translate the question, sorry. It seems that part of the problem is that Mr. Taniguchi-san has, financial issues with your manager, Matt Taylor. Could you comment from your own point, what are those financial problems and how does it relate to the harassment that you have received?
確かにマット・テイラーと谷口源一氏の間には金銭トラブルはあります。ですがこの件に関しまして私は一切関係がないので、私はその問題に対して私の口からコメントすることはありません。そして週刊文春の方に全て話してありますので、彼らが報道してくれたことが真実です。
I have nothing to do with the personal about money troubles between Mr. Taniguchi and my agent, Mr. Matt Taylor, so it's not something that I'm really appropriate for me to comment upon. But if you would like to look at the Shukan Bunchun article, it discusses those details and the things in great deal, and the facts are all there.
すみません、最後にですね、すみません、吉松さん、夜は寝れてますか？すみません。
Are you able to sleep well at night?
Actually, I don't feel any safe. Of course, I'm just scared as a normal woman. But I have own voice because I'm Miss International. So I decided I have to stand up for women of Japan. So your question, I tried to sleep. Thank you.
Then
I come from France. My name is Joël Legendre. I'm a journalist for RTL Broadcasting, which has a motto, which is we are a channel group in all Europe which works on entertainment. And in Japan, I mean, I have two questions. So first one is, in Japan, it looks awful how the way women are treated in production. I've myself worked as a kind of talento sometime on TVs, and I was amazed that I was just asked 3 seconds comment and the rest was an awful successions of crazy words. So my question is, why is it that in Japan, the women talento actress are so badly treated, and why is it like this that there is no other way? Then my second question comes from the first question. What would you like to see you as a female entrepreneur in entertainment? What would you like to see your job to be? How do you dream your job? Because after all, that's what started with. You wanted to start your company. Some guys came in and play muscle with you and say, no way, we want the money that you provide. So what would you dream about as a female entrepreneur in entertainment? Thank you.
Thank you.
分かると思うんだけど、なぜ上司はこのねひどい扱いを受けてるとこれからの郁美さんの夢語ってほしいですよね。エンターテイナーとしては何をやっていくか。
So about first question, as you know, gender equality is ranking in Japan. 2013 is 105. Last year, gender equality of ranking in Japan, 101. Let me explain in Japanese. 世界の、正しく名前を何て言うのかちょっと忘れてしまったんですけども、ジェンダーギャップ指数というのが発表されています。
Every year, the numbers indicating the amount of a gender gap is.
それは世界136カ国中。
Among 136 countries,
日本は去年は2012年101位で、今年は105位でした。
So it was 101 in terms of being bad in terms of gender equality in 2012, and this year was 106, 105, 105.
女性がこんなに先進国でもあるにもかかわらず、女性がこのような扱いを受けるというのは根底は日本の文化にあると私は思っています。
The reason that women are treated so badly and there's such a gender gap here, I think, really relates to something fundamental in Japanese culture.
Is it okay? My answer. What is the second question?
Second question. The first one is why industry. This was これからエンターテイナーとしていきたいですか？
どうなりたい？
エンターテイナーとしてね、これからエンターテイナーとしてはどういう活動をしていきたい？ Sorry, we're on a strict time schedule. That's the 5-minute warning telling me we got one more question after this. これからどういう活動をしていきたい？エンターテイナーとして。
これから私は日本だけではなく世界中でさまざまな活動をしたいとは思っています。特に私がやっていきたいのは子どもに教育に対して、そして女性に対してやはりこういう活動をしていきたいと。私が今力を入れている学生外交グローバルネットワーク、英語では The Global Student Diplomacy Network というのを今一生懸命世界中に広げようと思っています。
I would like to continue to use my status as an entertainer, as former Mr. International, to promote student diplomacy on a global scale.
The Global Student Diplomacy Network.
The Global Student Diplomacy Network. What exactly is that? ちょっと説明していただけますか？
Okay, so,
日本語でいいですよ。
これは私の慈善活動の一つなんですが、コンセプトとしては、デジタルの世界に生きる私たちはインターネットを使って一瞬にしてボタン一つで世界中が一つになれる私たちはそういう時代に生きてます。なのでその時代を教育現場に活用しなければいけないと思っていて、 日本の学校もしくは日本の学校と世界の学校、私がこの間やったのは日本の小学校とアメリカの小学校なんですけど、一緒に共同授業を行って異文化理解や語学の語学を学ぶ意欲向上。I can't confuse it. Sorry, it's too difficult for me.
It's okay. She says that the world is now united by the internet, and that you would like to use the power of the internet to have shared classes between Japanese schools and foreign schools, so everyone could understand each other's culture and work to a better understanding of each other.
で、子供というのは幼少期に世界中にそういうふうに友達を作れば、もし彼らが大人になった時に政治家になった場合、プレジデントになったり総理大臣になった時に、もし自分の子供の頃過ごした大切な友達が相手の国にいたとするならば、その国に対して怒りやネガティブな感情というのは起こらないと思うんですね。
She's already done one of these as part of this initiative with a Japanese school and a school in a school overseas, and she feels that if at the very early stages of life Japanese people and foreign people would learn to become friends through the internet, through their schools, that when they grew up to be, say, the prime minister or the president, that they would have understanding and compassion towards each other rather than hatred or negativity, and she wants to promote that kind of global education.
そうやって世界が一つになっていくだろうと私は信じて、せっかくグローバル時代に生まれたので、それを使って世界に一つをしたいと思ってます。
So she wants to make the world one place where everyone can use their educational backgrounds and the friends they made in their childhood to create a world that is peaceful and harmonious. Okay, we have time for one more question. And
Hi, I'm Emmy Suzuki Harris from Change.org, the world's biggest petition platform. ハリス鈴木恵美と申します。Change.org という世界最大の署名サイトの日本版の運営をやっています。ミスインターナショナルの組織についての質問なんですけど、これは東京のオフィス、ミスインターナショナルの組織の東京のオフィスの独自の決断で、今回はクラウンの明け渡しですかね、出られなくなったのか、それで海外のミスインターナショナルのスタッフ、あるいは例えばアメリカとか特に欧米の国々はそれを OK としているのでしょうか。
Let me answer this question. She's from Change.org, and the question is, was the decision to not have you at the Miss International contest something made by the Tokyo office, or was it done with cooperation from the offices overseas and the United States office? What can you say about that?
ミスインターナショナルの組織の本部というのは日本が本部なんです。なので日本がトップの組織にある以上、日本の独断のジャッジで私は明日の世界大会にステージを上がることはできません。
The decision was made by the headquarters of Miss International, which is located in Tokyo, and it was their decision and their decision alone that Ms. Yoshimatsu would not be on the stage tomorrow when the succession ceremony is taking place.
それでもちろん今この東京のどこかでみんなアクティビティをやっているんですが、世界各国のミスたちはすでに私の状況はすべて全員知っているとメッセージをミスたちからいただいてます。その声に対しては本当に I feel so sorry for you and it's bad for you. So みんなは来てほしいっていうふうに言ってくれました。
From all over the world, she's had comments and posts on her blog expressing the reports and wishing that she would come to the Miss International contest and turn over a crown. Two things before we end this. This is an English draft of the statement. It differs from what she said. The date here on December 28th should actually be the 30th. And yeah, and feel free to take one of these when it's going. We're going to do something a little unusual because there's some security concerns because of the principals involved. I'm going to give her a 1-year membership, and then I'm going to walk out the door with her, which is not how we usually do things at the FCCJ, but I hope you all remain seated while we leave.
Is it possible to extend time?
No.
Sorry, just one point of information.
Yes.
Did she say that tomorrow she's not going there? And can we know where this event is going on tomorrow? So maybe we can.
明日行かない？どこでやるのかわかりますか？
明日は品川プリンスホテルのアネックスホールであると聞いてます。それはもうミスインターナショナルのウェブサイトにちゃんと公表されているものです。
Can you ask who the sponsors are which withdrew support from Miss International?
You can ask. You can go online, Miss International. They listing all the sponsors.
Which withdrew support, bowing to the pressure from Mr. Taniguchi. Can you tell us?
言っていいのかな? No. So yeah, just you can go to the online.
Ms. Yoshimatsu's her contact number is all on these sheets here. If anyone would like to contact her afterwards, but due to security concerns, I have to get her out of here at the time that we've decided. Thank you very much. This is a 1-year
Thank you
membership
very much.
to the FCCJ. Come anytime. Enjoy our delicious food, our marvelous sushi bar, and our incredible library.
Thank you.
I'd ask you to remain seated while I escort her out. Feel free to help yourself to these releases after we've gone.